Hey guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to tonight's team Zoom. Tonight we have a special guest. Once again, it's the amazing Nick. I'm super excited. We're going to be talking about dream bigger and vision casting and all the fun things and seeing Plexus as a lifelong thing. So we're going to ask some questions. I have everybody's questions who asked, and we're going to ask him some questions and see what his response. So Nick, I want to ask the first question, if that's okay.
Yes.
So I'm curious, and I think everybody else is too. What is it like being a part of the company that your dad was, one of the original people? And what's it been like for you to kind of watch the entire process?
Yeah, no, it's such a great question. It's been fun, stressful at times, exciting. Um, when they started it, I was young and I think I was 18 or 19, so I wasn't very old, and so I was young and kind of it's fun to see them go from a very small company of 5 or 6 people grow into, the massive company we are today. With that being said, there's been some struggles, um, ups and downs along the ways. I feel like me being who I am and being my dad's son, it's added some extra pressure, maybe from myself, from others, but I want to make sure that I'm adding value to the company and respecting the legacy that's been built here by my dad and Taro, and do it justice for all the great things they believe in and the morals that they built within the company, and try to help and portray that. But it's been an absolute blast. I get to see my dad almost every day, which is so fun. Get to pick his brain. My wife and my mom sometimes have to tell us to stop talking business around the dinner table when we go visit. But besides that, it's pretty awesome being able to work with such a great company.
That's awesome. I love that. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so a few questions. I'm going to dive into what they all sent me. So one was, what is your driving force that keeps you from stopping?
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So, like me personally, with my driving forces,
Mm-hmm.
um, there's two things that are my driving force. One is um, maybe it's pride, but in a good way. Is I want to prove to people that I can do things they didn't think I could do. So every day I wake up trying to prove somebody wrong. Make somebody see me differently, or think, wow, I didn't know that he was capable of doing that, or it's a really great idea. I wish I would have thought of that. But every morning I wake up and I try to say, what can I do today that's going to change Plexus? Is this activity that I'm working on right now during my allotted times of work, how is that going to impact Plexus, and how is it going to move it forward? So that is the biggest thing for work that helps moving forward. And second is I want to be able to provide for my family. My dad gave us such a great life through all of his hard work that he's done. And my goal is to do the same thing, to provide for my family. Um, and so those are my two biggest driving forces.
Awesome.
Are one, I want to make sure people, see me for who I am. And then two, working hard for family is always a good motivator.
Absolutely. I love that. Okay. How do you keep from getting information overload? I had this conversation with a friend earlier today, and I know it happens, and I felt this too. But how can you gear us to, or guide us to not get information overload? Because we have the most incredible resources available to us, and sometimes it can be like just information overload. So what's your advice?
Yeah. It's a great question. And I think that one of the most important things we can do is slow down. Let's slow down and take a look at ourselves and look at our business and see what we need. So it's not a bad thing to sit down on a piece of paper and write down strengths and weaknesses. Where do I excel? Am I great at enrolling? Am I great at reaching out? Am I great at finding? Am I great in all of these things? And where do we need some work? And after we've identified this list, then we can actually dive into the information. Say, you know what? I'm great at enrolling. I find people. That's not an issue. So I can just move that information aside and dive into the problem. Maybe it's retention that you want help with, or something along those lines. And so my advice for avoiding information overload is slow down, take a look at yourself, and then try to identify what's going to help the most right now. If you're not sure what your strengths and weaknesses are, let's set up a call, me, you, and Jessica, and we will go through those together. We'll create a list and we'll point you guys in the right direction. Okay. So because you guys are on this call, I would love to set up a meeting with each and every one of you this upcoming week, which is, I think it's such a blessing for me to get to know you a little better, but we can really dive into on a personal level to your business, your strengths, your weaknesses, and what we can do to grow. So please message Jessica for the booking link. She'll send it to you guys, and then book a time that works for you. Going back to that question, slowing down, compartmentalizing what you're good at, what needs work, and then from there, tackling it one step at a time. My wife, she's awesome. I love my wife, but she's a little bit of a stressor. And a big phrase in our household is, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. One bite at a time. So as long as we're moving in the right direction, that's the most important thing. Okay?
Yes, perfect. I love that. Love that advice. Okay, and bouncing off of that, what is some tips that you have to stay on top of it all without feeling overwhelmed?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. A couple of things. One, stay organized with a system that works for you. Every phone has a notes app that you can take notes in, organize it. If you don't like that, grab a pen and a piece of paper, write down what you have to do, and just stay organized with your to-do list. Another thing that I learned from my dad is, I think he learned this from a training, but there's a list of things I have to do, things that I'm doing, and things that are done. So there are 3 lists: need to be done, currently doing, done. Write down absolutely everything that you have to do, and that can be a massive list. And now at this point, you're going to feel a little overwhelmed, which is normal because there's a list of like 30 things you have to do. Choose 2 of them, 2 things, and move them over to doing. And those are what you're working on. And once they're done, move them over to done and bring something over from to do into doing, and then over to done. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
How we have those 3 categories, and we can now stay on top of what we're doing and not get overwhelmed. Okay?
Mhm.
Okay. That's probably my biggest advice, is just stay organized, stay on top of it, and don't get overwhelmed. If you have to take a step back, regroup, maybe redo your list, that's okay. Just make sure that we're staying organized.
Love that.
Okay?
Absolutely. Yes. Those are great. I love those. Okay. I have another question here. It's, what are a few things you've noticed that top leaders are doing to keep building new business builders?
Yeah, simple. Finding people, enrolling people. It's so cliche and it's so cheesy. The only difference between you and a diamond is they've been told no 1,000 million times more. If you really take a second to put yourself into the footprint of a top leader, they are constantly trying to find new people, constantly talking, constantly trying, and probably constantly failing because not a lot of people say yes. So asking and asking and asking and trying to find people is the biggest difference. That's probably number one. And then number two, the ability to adapt. Far too often we see people who create a system that they are in love with and then just stick with it. You know, I'm going to keep posting about this. I'm going to keep saying this to people. I'm going to keep sending this message because it's easy, but it's not working. It takes effort to change it up. It takes effort to be like, okay, this week my message wasn't working. Let's change it up a little bit. Let's switch to this one. Or, you know, my strategy posting has been getting a little bit less likes. Let's see what's working for other people. Now let's adapt mine to mimic or match those strategies. So those are probably the 2 biggest things that I see out of top leaders are, one, constantly talking to people, constantly hustling, trying to find people to sign up. And then 2, the ability to adapt. And I'll even add in a number 3, working hard. I think that sometimes we get overwhelmed, we get stuck, and we just like, you know what, I'm gonna stop. Hustlers figure it out, you guys. They do. And I believe that anybody can develop the skills and attributes to be a top leader. It's all about effort. It's all about consistency. It's all about organization.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, next question. What is your number one tip for remaining relevant to consumers in such a recession cautious time?
Yeah, you know what? That's such a great question. And I think it kind of goes back to that previous question, is being able to adapt. I think in different times we have to talk about different things. Funny enough, our industry typically does well in economic struggles for a couple reasons. One, we're in network marketing, so you can work from home. Our main demographic are moms, right? So they're home. A lot of them are home anyways, and they're trying to make a second income. So during hard times, instead of focusing on the price of Plexus, let's focus on the opportunity to make money, to provide that secondary income, even if it's enough to send kids to a sport camp, if it's enough to, help pay an electric bill, it's still something. Let's not overestimate or underestimate the amount that $100, $200 makes in somebody's life each month. That's a lot of money to a lot of people. That's life-changing money. They don't have to worry about the lights turning off anymore or anything like that. So advice for you guys is leverage the business. Leverage the business with every person you talk to. A lot of times we're apprehensive to share the business because we don't want to come across salesy. But I'll tell you what, guys, nothing comes across more salesy than talking about products for the whole time you're signing somebody up. And then the moment they sign up, you bring up the business. They feel like they've been tricked. They're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that this was a business opportunity. I thought this was just products, and now they're like, oh, wow, it's okay. It feels a little slimy. Instead, bring both up right up front. Something along the lines of, you know what, these products are amazing. They're tried and true and they work. They're effective, and along with that, they can change your life from a financial standpoint as well. Plexus has an amazing compensation plan that can get, your products paid for, or even you can make, a secondary income, a small amount of money or a big amount of money, depending on how much effort you put in. But there's a way for you to do this. And let me explain you how. If you're interested, I'd love to explain it. And if you're not, I still think these products are going to change your life. And boom, right up front, they know about the business. They know about the products. It's not slimy. It's not weird. You're not trying to deceive anybody. It's just boom. Plexus has great products. Plexus has a great compensation plan. And let's move forward. And then if you're feeling brave at this point, guys, I would ask a question. Does that interest you? And then let there be silent. Let there be some silence. I'll tell you what, sometimes silence is awkward and silence is a powerful tool. Make them make a decision. Don't make it for them. Because 9 times out of 10, if you say, yeah, let me know, they're not going to let you know. Right? So let's say, would that something you'd be interested in? And then let them answer. If they say no, like, not a big deal, if that changes, let me know. And if they say yes, say, awesome, let's sign up right now. Or I'll call you later tonight and I'll walk you through the sign up process, to make sure that everything goes smoothly. And you're there helping them now grow and build their business from day one. Does that make sense, guys? How that's slightly different than waiting to bring up the business?
Absolutely.
Yeah? Okay, awesome.
Does anybody else have some questions they want to ask that you didn't get to send me yet? Anybody else?
If not, I have a couple questions for you guys. All right, okay. So, one, I believe in asking hard questions. I'm very honest and I'm very open, both ways. So I won't sugarcoat things, but I also I won't be mean either. Don't worry. But let me ask you a question, and don't answer this out loud. Think this in your mind. Why are you here tonight, or why do you hop on these team calls? Think about that in your head. Is it one, because you've made friends and you want to be with them? Two, is it because you feel like you're part of a group and you want to participate? Three, is it not to let somebody down? Or 4, is it because you want to change your life and the life of your family? So, yeah, so let's ask ourselves these questions. Why am I here tonight? Why do I wake up every morning and work Plexus? And then next, um, if it is to change your life, are you, and again, I don't want hands, are you doing everything possible to enroll your people and take care of them to build the business? Just think about those questions. Are you doing those things? If the answer is yes, and you're still not having success, set up a call with me and let's dive into it. If the answer is no, let's start doing those things. Reaching out to people, sending messages, following up, being present, putting in the time. And then my last question is, a coworker of mine brought this to my attention. He said, Nick, if I told you that in the other room there was 100 people in there, and one of those people were going to take you to Emerald, Sapphire, and Diamond, how many people would you talk to out of those 100 people? You'd talk to every single one of them, right? All 100, because there's that one person in there who's going to get you there. You guys, the odds are there. There is that person out there. You know what I'm saying? They will help get you there, and you can help somebody else get there. So let's open our mouths. Let's try to talk to people. Let's be proactive, and let's have fun. I'll tell you guys what, being in momentum on a team is far more fun than not. And momentum is all about us and our attitudes. Show up to these calls and be, guys, you know what? This week was a hard one for me. I struggled. I reached out to 15 people and all of them said no. Maybe maybe you guys could help me. Here's what I did. Boom. Now you guys as a group can discuss what you did and how you can do better. Or, hey guys, I have this lady. She seems like a runner. I'm a little nervous. I don't know what to do. How can I help her? And then you guys talk as a group. What's hard is when everybody comes to me. I'm not trying to point anybody out because I don't know. But what's hard sometimes when people come to this meeting and they haven't done anything, because then they just are there. It's a little boring because you're just sitting here listening. You're not really growing because you're not, adding and asking questions about you personally. And so, guys, you guys don't understand how amazing Jessica is, how awesome she is as a sponsor, and how much she cares about you guys. Like, literally, you guys are so lucky. So when you show up to these meetings, show up ready to work, show up motivated, and show up excited, okay? Because I believe that every one of you can have success, okay? Sound good?
Absolutely.
So when things are tough, enjoy it. Say, this sucks. I can't wait to tell my group about it on Monday night. Or is today Wednesday? Wednesday night. I can't wait to ask them about it. Or I can't wait to pick their brains about this. I sent this message and they never responded. Maybe I didn't send it right. Let me ask. And you guys, be there for each other, support each other. Struggling together is far more fun than struggling alone. Okay?
Mm-hmm. One last thing I do have to ask. I forgot to ask.
Yes.
Like taking the conversation with somebody who's starting out, goes silver, taking them from earning the incentive to taking it to long term, to seeing Plexus as like the big thing, the last stop. And I know that you can answer this very well because this is a family business for you, and you guys are doing it. You're lifers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so I guess number one is incentives are amazing. We have to then be extra involved when we enroll somebody up just for an incentive. The biggest thing that I do is what I coach to do is, one, send them a journal or have them get a journal and write down why they started Plexus and how they feel. Most people start Plexus because they're not feeling great. They're struggling to get on the floor with their kids. They're grumpy, they're moody. They're drinking tons of coffee, tons of soda just to make it through the day. Have them write down how they feel and why they started Plexus. Then be involved in their lives. Be friends with them. Invite them to calls. Check up on them. See how they're doing. 30 days later, reach back out about that journal and say, hey, let's revisit that journal entry you wrote. It's not abnormal for it not to be too different in just 30 days. Sometimes it takes time, takes consistency, but let's revisit it again. Oh, okay, some things have changed. Awesome. And how do you feel like the products are? You really liking them? Okay, great. Oh, you hate Slim? Well, let's get something else for you. They have a couple different flavors. Let's try those. Okay, awesome. And then be involved. And then 30 days later, so day 60, reach back out again. Hey, it's been 60 days of you taking the products. How are things going? Oh, and then continue that process, because you guys, it's impossible for somebody to be consistent and not feel different. Our products are amazing. They change lives. Okay, sound good? So
Yes.
that's number one. And then number two, I'm a firm believer, and I heard this at church and I modified it. But the three things that somebody needs to have success when joining Plexus is: one, they need a friend. Two, they need a responsibility on the team. And three, they need to be nourished by learning, by growing, by taking in these team calls, by taking in momentum meetups, motivation Mondays, convention, all those other things that they can learn and grow from. If somebody has those three things, they will have success here. Okay?
Love that.
So, you guys, there's no reasons you guys can't do it. There's so many people who have done it. It's just finding that motivation to push a little extra hard, to find that extra person, and to put in that extra effort. You guys, and again, I can't reiterate enough how awesome your guys' sponsor is. Jessica is here for you. If you have any questions, reach out to her and she is there to help. Okay? Okay. So two things we're taking away is: one, let's work together. Let's have fun together. Let's struggle together. Let's grow together. And two, let's set up a call with me and Jessica this week. It's Wednesday, so maybe next week. Jessica's going to send you guys my booking link. Find a time that works for you. Share that time with Jessica. Make sure it works for her. And then let's meet and we'll discuss in detail your business and what we can do to take it to the next level. Okay?
Awesome.
Any more questions?
No?
Tiffany, no questions?
She asked mine for me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, you guys have been awesome tonight. I love getting on these calls. You guys are the reason that, one, I have a job, and two, my life has been so blessed is because of you guys. So thank you so much for being at Plexus and working so hard. I can't wait to see you guys on stage one day, because I truly believe anybody can get there.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate you hopping on tonight. And I know that they're going to be excited to get the recording and see you next time on a Zoom.
I love it. Can't wait. Thanks so much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yep. Have a
Yeah.
good night. Bye.